Hi, everybody. Welcome to Am I the Asshole podcast. I'm Danny Vega, joined today by my lovely, lovable Queen's triplet co-host, Sarah Levine, folks.
I feel like that really narrows it down.
That's it.
There can really only be one.
There can be only one Highlander, but there can also only be one Sarah Levine because you're a fraternal triplet.
Yes.
Still
true.
Still true. And it never gets old, really. It's a surprise. Every time I think
Not for you, it doesn't.
I know. For you, I guess you've been kind of in it for a while. But for me,
just a little bit.
I mean, I'm jealous because, it's so much camaraderie to be with, a couple other people right at your same age, and that's cool. Are you for
nice.
it? Like, if you could choose, right? Like, let's say you wanted to have 3 kids. Would you rather them be triplets? Like, assuming the birthing process was, let's just pretend that's like, this doesn't exist.
Right.
Would you rather have 3 all at the same time for their sake, or would you tear it out?
I don't think anybody wants that for their own sake, honestly, because
No, but that's what I mean. Not for your sake as a parent having to deal with it. I mean, for their sake, do you think there's something like really cool about that?
I mean, it is nice to have like built-in friends my whole life. I don't know. It's just a different dynamic. Like, I feel like I can't learn from an older sibling the way somebody else would.
That's true. Everyone's kind of the same idiot. I never thought of that.
Yeah, I'm not showing anybody the ropes either. So there's definitely pluses and minuses.
This episode sponsored by the National Triplet Association. Take birth fertilizer drugs and have a little tripo.
Oh, God.
A little trio.
Don't recommend.
Why not?
I truly don't recommend.
Big shout out to our new patrons, Grace, Lauren, Saga, and a couple new big spender patrons. We really appreciate it. Freitas, who I just did a featured guestie with. It's so fun. Woo! Really excited about that. And Kinsey, welcome to the show. And we've even got a positive review to read here. AITA for loving the pod, but not reviewing. Sarah, I feel pretty good about their odds, okay?
I think
they write,
so.
Okay. I feel good. Okay, listen, I, 23F, don't have iTunes, or else I would rate and review the hell out of this pod. I'm a student teaching, paying to work full time. We love someone on the grind, OP. Get it. And I happened to stumble across the pod on Spotify on my hour commute to school. This is my first and only pod I've ever listened to. Oh my God, I'm going to cry immediately.
Wow.
I don't know why that's like...
How did you find us? I love that.
It's like crazy to me that someone's conception of a podcast would go to me. They'd be like, hey, like a podcast, like the one Sarah Levine and Danny Vega are on. Like, that's like crazy to me.
Serial who? Like...
Right? I know Serial for me will always be the like prototypical podcast.
Me too.
So good. The original Serial. I mean, they really hit it different, AITA for being a non-Saeed. This is a question. This is the question of Serial. Anyway, I'm getting off course here, people.
Oh, God.
They say this is the only podcast they listen to, so they're monogamous with us. We appreciate that. I go through 2 to 3 eps a day. When I start my career, I'm definitely going on Patreon for more content. I'm obsessed with Danny. Hey. I love this. Look, Sarah. I want you to know, Sarah put this in the episode outline, guys.
I know. I swear I didn't write this.
Like, let's...
Right?
I love his voice, the way he talks, his personality, the way he smirks on the Spotify videos makes me feel, and then they wrote kind of like an aghast emoji. Oh my God.
It's like the bashful emoji, I think. Or it's like surprise.
Yes. Yeah. I personally think Danny does a great job at trying to create a safe environment for listeners and feedback by giving his listeners a platform when they feel misrepresented and by owning his mistakes. He needs to leave Gen Z alone on TikTok, though. I think both Danny and Sarah are very ethical people, and I've learned a lot. If they read this, thanks for being candid and compassionate host. Oh my God, what a sweet letter. I'm like kind of fucked up.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Thanks, OP. We out here trying our best, so really appreciate it. And be sure to anyone can do this now. I'm really upping my sticker game, folks. Throw your address. You DM me on Instagram. Throw your address directly into the form. We will send you It's I'm no, but I'm prepared, people. I mean, you gotta give me some time because it's gonna take like a week turnaround time at least to get it sent to you. But you will get stickers. And if you send your address and don't hear anything for a month, then DM me again and be like, I want my stickers, and you will get them. They are free stickers, 7 free AITA stickers. If you ask nicely, I'll give you 2 break up with hims. I know we love the break up with him
Ooh,
sticker. It's the big hit.
right?
It's the big hit.
And they are great stickers. I like murder judgment cookies, but obviously that's narcissistic of me. But it's a
I
great
love that one
sticker.
too. I love it so much. And people are like, what does that
Yes.
mean? And I say, it's called the Sarah story. And then I just stop talking. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Like when my friends ask, they're like, yeah, I don't know what that means. And I'm like, I know what it means though. And that's all that matters. So
It's like
you
our
you
inside
gonna
joke.
take it?
We made 1,000 stickers just for the two of us.
Okay, so then we got this other submission here. This is a
This is something
pretty
that
brutal
you sent
title.
to me from Reddit, and you were like, "We need to cover this," and I was like, "I don't know why, but okay."
Oh, this story. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. I got you now. Okay. This is super interesting, guys. So this is the post. Let's read through it. It was not on AITA. We are at our last end. We need advice, please. We've been renting this 3-bed, 2-bath house in Florida for 3 years. Within the last 3 months, things started to escalate. At first, it was just my key/wallet being mysteriously moved from the kitchen counter to the main table. All of a sudden, my wife lost the dress and suit that my nephew and niece wore the night of our wedding. And believe it or not, this is just the start of it. A week ago, I was lying in bed with my wife at 9 p.m., just like any other night, and I saw a shadow, a literal effing man, standing outside of
Nope.
our door. And when I got up with my pistol, it
Nope.
was gone. My wife was so scared, and I was too. Of course, what the hell can we do, guys? AITA. Just kidding. I
Like,
threw that on there.
oh
I
my
threw it
god,
on
and
there.
right, AITA for being scared. Change the fucking locks. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. So okay, so here's the Reddit kind of backdrop of this. This is one of the classic Reddit posts. I wasn't actually aware of it, and people referenced it. They were like, "Oh, this sounds like carbon monoxide."
Yes.
So
I think about that
apparently
all the time.
you can get a leak, and basically, I'm not really sure how it works, but I guess not enough oxygen is getting to you, and so you have these very bizarre, paranoid, and I'm
Well,
sure very
yeah, well, carbon
scary.
monoxide is like super poisonous, so it's weird, but I guess you can get like a certain type of low level carbon monoxide poisoning that will
Right,
kind of
right, and
impair like
so
your memory.
and so the classic post that this references was, this sounds bizarre, but this original post, I think this was 7 years ago. This OP wrote that they kept finding notes in their house,
Hmm.
and it wasn't in their handwriting. They kept finding these tiny strange notes, and it really just read as very odd, because like, look, let's face it, if someone's gonna kill you, if they're a serial killer, they're probably just gonna kill you. They're not gonna like do this elaborate sort of thing. Also, very hard to pull
Yeah.
off. And
Well, they
and it
thought
was
their
exactly
landlord
this.
was leaving them these notes. They were
Yes,
like,
yes,
"What
yes,
should I
that's right.
do? Like, what should I do? Like, my landlord is leaving me these notes. Like, I'm freaked out." And someone on Reddit was like, "Check your carbon monoxide detector." And like, sure enough, it was broken,
Sure
and
enough.
they had carbon monoxide poisoning and were leaving themselves these crazy notes and not remembering. I think
So
about that story
bizarre. I
often.
mean,
Yeah.
it sounds psychedelic almost, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so like I'm gonna Google like what is the mechanism that this is thought, because it's so weird that, like, I mean, it sounds like doing a drug, right? Like you lose your memory, so you black out, but then you also do these bizarre things that you wouldn't normally do, like, I wonder what
Right.
happened to this dress or whatever. That said, and I don't mean to scare you, Sarah. I don't know if I think we've actually talked about this, but there's a pod I actually used to listen to. It's really good. It's called Criminal. You ever listen to this
I
pod?
like Criminal with what's her name? Rebecca something, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there is an episode though in OP's potential defense that they aren't losing their head to carbon monoxide, where this person is actually living in like some kind of area of their house that was
Yeah.
inaccessible, and
Yeah.
so it actually was
I've
this.
seen a lot of that.
But like they were doing everything they could to minimize it, and it felt much more like, they're trying to hide and not be caught, whereas like leaving tiny notes everywhere, you're like, okay, well that's that's really bizarre.
Hmm.
Like,
Well, I think
I don't know, the
that
motive.
this to me seems like you're someone's fucking with you because they saw a like a person shadow. So that to me is why I'm like
uh
change your locks and not necessarily like go see a carbon. go look at your carbon monoxide. I
Well,
mean,
get a
go look
carbon.
at that anyway, because if that's broken,
You
you're
should
gonna
have
die.
it.
Like, you could easily die.
Yeah, you should definitely have carbon monoxide
They come on the smoke
detectors
alarms
in
now,
your
I feel
home.
like.
Is that what a
Yeah.
smoke alarm is? I suspected, but I wasn't
It's
100%
both.
sure. Okay.
Well, a lot of times it's
You heard
both.
it
I
here
think they
first,
come in
folks.
one now.
No, like I was gonna say, like, imagine being a smoke alarm guy and you're like, well, they don't need to know about this carbon monoxide. They'll be okay. It's not that big of a
Uh,
deal. What, a couple
Oh my
weird
God. That's the
days?
thing you need to know about more than the smoke, because the smoke you can smell at least and like see.
You can. Absolutely. AITA
Scary.
for being a noxious psychedelic gas. I'm leaning YTA on that. I think carbon
Yeah,
monoxide, I don't know if it's bad for the environment, but it's related. It's the brother of, what do they call that? Ozone. I'm pretty sure it's related to ozone, or is that just oxygen? Look, I don't know a lot about chemicals,
What do you
guys.
mean carbon?
It's not my strength.
I'm gonna lean YTA for the carbon monoxide.
Anyway, good thing this isn't a chemistry pot. Let me just say,
Oh my
AITA
God,
for being
imagine.
chemistry, yes. Chemistry, I can, like, look, I don't regret learning the Pythagorean theorem. I think that was cool. I think Pythagoras hit that one out of the park. But all that shit with the S and the P's, remember that? The little circles and the electrons, that didn't do nothing for me. It was just like a really
Oh
weird
yeah,
puzzle. I was like, what are we going to do with this? This is nothing.
that is nothing. I do think I have never once, let's say, leaned a ladder against a building and then been able to calculate the height of the building based on the length of that ladder. Like, what's the point? Why did they give us real world
true.
applications for that?
Yeah, they should teach kids how to use spreadsheets and like they should really kind of get
Yeah.
into what you're actually going to be doing. But instead they're like, here's an obscure subject that totally no one will ever
Oh my God.
barely reference. Like the curriculum is not correct. Like Google Docs should be a class because people who don't know how to use
Yes.
Google Docs, I mean, even and like these things are getting so complicated. Like I still learn things about Google Docs. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know you
Yeah.
could do that. Like it's crazy. Anyway, I feel
I
like I sound like a
know. I
boomer. Gen
know.
Z's like, this is nothing. Google Sheets, you're
I know,
crazy. We
right?
use Airtable. Okay. Okay.
That's true. I know. But instead of learning taxes, I spent like literally all of 8th grade proving that a triangle was in fact a triangle.
I see it. I can see right there that it's a triangle. We see it.
So fucking
What
annoying.
more needs to be said? What do you want from me? What do you want from me,
Right.
math?
It's got 3 sides. That's
Euclid.
it.
Did you? Yeah, like give us a break here. Gosh, my math teacher had a really large Audi belly button. It was almost like a tiny belly on his belly,
Ugh,
and that is the most
what?
memorable thing. Yeah, it was pretty. It was a pretty crazy Audi. I'd never really seen an Audi like that.
Why did you see it?
It was something to remember because it protruded from his shirt, kind of burst from him.
Oh, it's like, what else do you have to talk about in school?
Yeah, you know? And an innie is very humble. It's kind of the classical belly button, but shout out to my Audi people out there. You know, if you got an Audi, you know, I say wear a tight shirt, show that thing off. You know, it's beautiful.
I don't even think I
You
know
know?
that many people with an Audi belly button. I think my sister used to have one, but I feel like as she grew up, it just is an innie now.
It's an innie now. That's everybody
It's a weird
goes to. Everybody
conversation.
wants to fit in and have an innie, but I'm ready to convert to an Audi. How about that?
They go inside you like they do at the car dance.
We're gonna play a little bit of Guess the Verdict, folks. AITA for teaching my 20M niece 4F to say El Chupacabra when her mom 32F says, "You know what really gets my goat?"
Yeah, I saw this and I didn't even read it. I was like, why would you be the asshole for that? I'm just gonna go with an obvious NTA. I mean, it could be a no
NTA
assholes
is.
here.
I should have let
Fuck.
you think. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm gonna go with. Well, now why? Because if I had said no assholes here, would I be wrong? Whatever. I'm gonna go with NTA. I think you tricked me. So, meh.
I didn't trick you. You said it, and then I kind of agreed. You are absolutely right, Sarah. So here's the deal.
Woo!
Pretty much exactly what's in the title. Really, the only funny details
What?
are she says it 7 to 8 times a day. Okay, that's a lot of, you know, it really
Why?
gets my goat. Let's bring that down. I think this is a once a day phrase maximum. Really,
Tops.
I would honestly push you once a week. It's just not that good of a phrase, honestly. I need to look it up.
Like,
I don't
how
know
annoyed
exactly
can
what it
you
means.
be? It to me, it seems like,
Yeah, you're right,
it
because
really grinds my gears, but it's like, yeah, how annoyed can you possibly be every day?
yeah, she's very irritable.
Oh boy.
So, and then it's a 4-year-old, so she doesn't actually say El Chupacabra. She says Esupacaba, which, I think that's pretty good for. I don't know anything about child development, but I feel like that's pretty
Mm,
good. Um,
the kid's
so
four?
OP was just kind of like kids 4. OP was like, it seems adorable and harmless, but she's like my sister's kid, which I got to give props to OP. He's being conscious. We've talked a lot about what you should teach others' kids, and this feels like reasonable. He also did explain that the chupacabra eats the goats to her, which
Oh,
you
I
know.
didn't even know that.
Well, you know what? Just since we're here, I actually used to work for a basically like Latino BuzzFeed. It was called the Flama, and
Oh,
I actually
yes.
happen to know a fair amount about the myth of El Chupacabra. And basically, it kind of combines a bunch of myths. But what they found was there was a movie, and the name escapes me right now. But future Danny here, that movie is actually called Species. When this movie came out, this like anthropologist actually got in there and found that the release of the movie coincided with a lot of reportings of the
Ah,
chupacabra, and they actually tracked it. So
that's fun.
that would have
So
been a
it's
good
kind of
fact
like,
if I knew the name. I think it's called like
no, but that's interesting
spine or
because I feel
something.
like there's something
Yeah.
to be that's kind of like, oh, I forgot. There's some kind of psychological phenomenon that also happened like that where reports of it exploded after some movie about that. But I forget what it is.
Yeah.
So we're both doing great.
Love it.
That's funny. Okay, well, here we go. You're going to hate me. I don't care.
Oh no.
AITA for a shitty situation.
Oh my God. You really are getting good at finding these completely non-informational AITAs.
It.
I mean, look, I'm gonna play this as it lays. I'm not gonna do any interpretation. I'm not smart like you. I see this as someone in a predicament, and it's a shitty situation. But then again, is it shitty? They're not taking any ownership. I'm gonna go YTA.
YTA is wrong. So the shitty
Rats.
situation was literal. So OP
Oh
lives in a
no.
property, I know, that backs up to a neighborhood with an HOA. And all you need to know is that the HOA is like completely addicted to this person. However, OP learns that the HOA's sewer line runs through OP's property, and there's nothing about this is in writing. Like it was kind of a handshake deal. So
Hmm.
when they send like a plumber or whoever to fix the sewer line, OP is like, no, get off my property. And the HOA president comes and tries to like intimidate OP, and they're like, in order to like rerun the sewer line, it's going to cost millions of dollars and take months. And OP says,
Hmm.
man, that sucks for you guys. Hope you get it fixed soon. Sign says no trespassing though. So basically now they've had to have like a huge mobile poop tank in somebody's backyard for the past 3 months. And the residents kind of went to OP and they said they can only take 5-minute showers. They only flush number 2. The noise is really loud, etc., etc. And OP is basically like, tough shit. That pun was not intended. So
Wow.
the top verdict was NTA, you live in the county, not the HOA. There's no easement on your deed. So the sewer line is probably against code or illegal. The residents need to take action against the HOA for the unlivable conditions they created by their shortcuts, not you.
Sounds complex.
It
But
is a
I'm
little
kind of leaning
complex.
into my verdict a little bit because I kind of feel like, dude, if it's just a plumber on your property, I mean, was he like destroying shit, or were you just being like, get off my property? It's like, well, people have to use the
I think they
restroom,
were
sir.
being douchey because the HOA was being douchey first to him about like taking out the trash
Mm,
and leaving the trash and the gas line and like they wouldn't let him set up a gas line, so he had to get a tank, and then they complained that the tank was like loud and an eyesore and like all this. It was a back and forth that culminated in the poop.
Oh boy, AITA for repeating what my BF said to me. And I'm going to make my own prediction here. And I think Sarah is going to solve for this. Like, I think she's going to guess the whole situation. AITA for repeating what my BF said to me.
Repeating what my BF said to me. Oh, well, it sounds like he said something kind of snarky in an argument. and then she said it
Wow,
back.
people.
So is
Wow.
she the asshole? I'm gonna go with ESH.
Well, ESH is wrong. So you were close. I might have to downgrade you from profit status, unfortunately, but
Ah,
you got the vibes. You got the vibes. So basically, 24F dating a 25M. BF has kind of repeatedly brought up that she has small boobs, and she
oh,
mentions
this.
that
Okay.
he has 4 inches. Okay. So, well, last night she writes, he started
Ugh.
up again and said, you know, they have surgery for that, and motioned towards my chest. I repeated, you know, they have surgery for that, and motioned toward his waist. It
They
went
do?
NT. Yeah, technically, but it's like bad. You shouldn't do it. It's like
Yeah, that sounds
terrible. Not that
painful.
I've looked it up or anything. I haven't looked
Right,
it
no.
up. I
Of
totally
course not.
haven't looked it up. Anyways, I am secure. This
Wait,
person
how is
wrote,
this
him
an
not
ES?
speaking
How
to
is
you
this
sounds like,
not ESH?
because he was repeatedly insulting her small boobs. And then
Oh, okay.
he said, like, just out of nowhere, like, you know, they have surgery for that, and motion towards her
What a piece
boobs.
of
And then she
shit.
took a shot back. Right? I mean, I think it's an obvious
Also, just
NTA,
break
and
up with
he
him.
is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
There we go. You know, you want the sticker, people, because there it is.
Do
And
want
that
the
is what this
sticker.
person
Fuck
said.
that guy. Okay. Well, AITA for flipping out when I caught my sister trying to read my chats.
Seems pretty valid. We hate a phone snooper, especially a phone snooper
We do.
sib. Seems
Hmm.
reasonable, but I don't know if he would give me an easy one. So I'll assume that maybe they went too far and it's an ESH.
You're kind of close. You're kind of close because we're sort of on the ESH NAH paradigm. It is
Classic.
shockingly a no assholes here. What happened was OP was like
Wow.
reading a chat, whatever. The sister was sitting next to
Hmm.
her. The sister leaned over to try to read it. OP noticed and recoiled and said, "What's wrong with you?" pretty loudly. The sister said, "Oh, it's not that serious. You're overreacting. You're causing a scene in front of our friends." OP said, "Don't look at my phone." The sister told the parents that she was doing it as a joke, had no actual intentions to read the chat. The top comment was, "No assholes here." I think this is situational. 9 out of 10 times, this is just siblings being siblings. No one gets upset or hurt.
Yeah, that's fair.
And if,
I guess I pictured her on the phone, but there's like whatever security now for that Face ID and all that shit. So I pictured it wrong. I am
oh,
not a
no, just like
prophet.
literally reading over someone's shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a bad thing to do, but kind of more understandable. That's like that's kind of like, you know, you saw something juicy, you
It's
couldn't
just
help
like
but
you're a
read
little
it. I don't
nosy.
know.
Right, it's like running the mill
Yeah.
nosy.
Well, Sarah, I think that is a win for you. I think I'm starting to
Woo!
lose ground here. All right, guys. Well, please rate, review, and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Loving my enchilada gang on Spotify. Love all the comments you leave. The guy who always comments just an emoji of a snake actually changed his game up and just wrote the word
Oh,
snake. So I see you.
so he
I see
hates
you.
you.
Okay.
What'd you do to him? Like, he thinks
That's
you're a snake? What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know, but I called it out, and then sure enough, everybody left comments of snakes. So this is just the
Love it.
world we're in on Spotify. It's wild. Love you
Love it.
guys on there, and please join us on Patreon. I think we have like 100 bonus episodes on there. We've got a really fun WhatsApp and bi-weekly happy hours, and you know, it's a whole world. And also, we'd really just appreciate your support. That's it. What more can I say, people? You get it. I will say this though. We got one heck of an ep for you today. Okay?
I'll
We
also
do.
say
Our
before
second
that, subscribe to our newsletter, aitapod.substack.com. We're going to start sending it out next week, once a week.
100%. And yeah, and if you could also, if you're into this kind of thing, we're gonna start doing live streams. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but we're gonna do live streams on Twitch. We're actually gonna live stream the main when we record on Thursdays. So if you're into that kind of thing, we record Thursdays at 5:30 p.m. EST, 2:30 PST.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a thing. Sign up for Twitch and get notifications if you want to tune into the pod live. Maybe not. Maybe you want the edited version, but maybe you're ready. Maybe you're ready to see what gets said. We edit a lot
Unfiltered.
out, people. Our second story of the day, folks. AITA for threatening to call the police on my dad. But first, AITA for not splurging on a staycation for my wife's birthday. My wife is turning 36 in a month or so. I'm 40M. Our income is 100K for me and 60K for her. For her birthday, my wife said that all she wants is a weekend stay at a nice local hotel and a spa treatment. We haven't taken a vacation in over a year due to the pandemic, so we have some money saved up. I said, no problem. We live in the Orlando area, tourist capital of the world, so there are tons of hotels to choose from. In my head, I was thinking about $300 a night and $300 for a day spa visit. She tells me she wants to stay at the Ritz-Carlton Orlando. The nightly rate for the cheapest room is $1,100, making a 2-day stay
Oh my
about
God.
$2,600, including taxes and fees. If I had to spend $2,600
Oh
to fix
shit.
our roof, our car, it would sting, but it wouldn't break our finances. However, I said I wasn't going to spend $2,600 on a place to sleep for 2 nights. I suggested we stay at the Marriott, also a luxury hotel. It's actually directly attached to the Ritz. I mean, if you look at it in Google Maps, it's like one big property. You'd never even know there's 2 hotels, and she can still walk over to the Ritz Day Spa. The JW room is $399, making it $950 after taxes and fees. She said it's not the same. Got mad at me for being a cheapskate and for not willing to get her the one thing she wants for her birthday. I said she was being unreasonable, not because she wants to stay at a nice hotel, but for spending $2,600 on it. She said we can afford it. I said technically yes, we could, but that doesn't mean we should. We basically went in circles. AITA.
This is kind of tough.
This is
I mean,
tough.
the Ritz Carlton is the asshole. Like, I didn't know the prices were that steep. That's pretty nuts.
It's very steep. And like to go into the practical side of this, I was fortunate enough to stay in a few 5-star hotels, and I didn't pay obviously, but like they are 5-star hotels, and they're really nice, but like the difference between a 5-star hotel and a 4-star hotel is often like $300 or $400 more per night. I mean, in this
Mm-hmm.
case, we're talking about what, a $700 gap. I'd say that's relatively normal. I mean, you can get a room at the
Mm-hmm.
Ritz for 400 a night, or if you time it right, it's also Orlando. So I'm guessing like,
I know.
it's
I'm
always
like,
kind of
can't you go on
popping
Hotel
off.
Tonight or something and see? But I mean, that's a gamble.
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, I think their income level is pretty solid. I mean, it's not really enough information for me, because, like, it's like, well, is the house paid off? Like, are the cars paid off? What are your expenses? It's not really enough to know, but I
Mm-hmm.
can certainly recognize that, they have enough money to do it. But yeah, I think it is a big ask, and it's also just a little
Mm-hmm.
bit of a money fire for me because paying for experiences is worth it. Like, I believe it's worth it. I have spent $200 on a single meal, and it's incredible. It's not something I want to do regularly. It's like something to do maybe quarterly or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
gosh, on just accommodations, on just where you're staying, I think when they say spend money on experiences too, that also means like, yeah, experiences, but a place to stay, just,
Exactly.
yeah, there's niceties, but like, is that really, are you going to remember that, the staff is so kind and the towels are so fresh and fluffy? Oh, and there's a bathrobe in there and we have a hot tub in the room. It's like, yeah, but like, it's probably not going to stick with you. Like, there's just so many better ways to spend the money. It seems like a little bit of a ridiculous ask based on their income level.
I mean, I guess I think based on their income level, it is doable. Like, I think this is more than doable, but I also just feel like, why are you staying at the Ritz Carlton to like probably just to say that you're staying there? And like, it's a lot. I don't know. I'm just like, it's a lot of money for where you're going to sleep. And I think for that much money, you could actually go somewhere too. It's like you're spending a ton of money to sleep in the city in which you live. And that seems like not really worth the quote unquote experience to me. I mean, obviously to her, it does feel worth it, but I don't feel like he's wrong for trying to compromise a bit.
I think I could get more on board if it was a special birthday. I mean, I ran some numbers here. If you do 160K times point 0.7, right, which is like a pretty conservative estimate of taxes, that's 112 grand a year. So basically, this trip is almost 2% of their annual income, which is like a pretty fair chunk. I
Mm.
don't know. It just seems a little excessive to me. Like, it's a lot to ask. I think with couples, it's always about the negotiation, but I think this is tough because I mean, this starts to go into incompatibility town where you're like, because for me it is grotesque, right? Like, if I made 400 grand a year, then this would be whatever, right? Like, this would be like just such a tiny percentage of my income where it'd be
Mhm.
like painless. But like, I think for most people, this is quite painful. You could also buy a nice thing that you could have for years, like I don't know, a car, not a car, but like a huge TV, or I don't know. It's just like that money is just gone and you just
Yeah,
have
like
this
a couch or
2-day
something.
experience. Yeah, that's what it is for me. It's like this isn't enough bang for the buck. It's 2 days and like they don't really make enough money, I think, to justify this like opulence for 2 days. I'm like, "Yo, why don't you guys like plan something nicer and stay at the Marriott for a week or whatever, like or 4 days?" Like that feels like a much
Yeah.
more like full, much more rewarding experience, you know?
I know. I feel like for me, it's the fact that it's 2 days again where they already live. Like for $2,600, you could like fly and stay in a new city. I feel like that could be a weekend trip, and I mean, but it's not really fair for me to judge who's the asshole based on my personal preferences. Because like I don't know, some people like to ball out like that. I actually I don't care about hotels at all because I'm just like I'm sleeping there. That's it. You know.
Exactly.
Like,
I
I'm not
think
a
that's
person to
kind of
really
my
be like,
my
"Oh, I gotta book a bougie hotel." I'm like, "No, let's make it cheap and just make sure it's in a good area." But, like, that's just me. Some people do wanna have,
right.
like, really nice accommodations.
I get the want, and it is something special to stay in a hotel like that. It's, it feels good. It's really exciting. I mean, I stayed at the freaking Luxor, which cost $140 a night, and I was blown away because I was inside a pyramid, and that was cool to me. You know,
Wait, it's only that much?
it.
I wanna stay there. I'm going.
Oh yeah, it's not a
Uh,
particularly like nice hotel. Like but it's a pyramid. It's crazy. Yeah.
I
No, we
thought it
should
looked
totally go to
cool.
Vegas.
Alright.
Like
Let's go. I do wanna go to Vegas.
Vegas,
I
you
do
gotta
wanna
just be
go.
kind of trashy. That's Vegas. You gotta be like, I'm in a giant
I'm
pyramid,
trashy.
brr, and there's a drunk.
I love Atlantic City, so I'm ready. I've been training for Vegas. I really do love
Totally.
Atlantic City. Like it is trashy. I'm sorry, people, but it is. But it's so fun. It's so fun. I was telling Danny on the Patreon. I saw this like very overweight man almost get in a fight with these two elderly women with walkers because they tried to cut him for the elevator line to go down one floor. Like it was so ridiculous all around. You can smoke inside. Kind of gross. Great place though. Great place.
Yeah. Hey, there's a time and a place. I think where we're
Oh,
struggling
yeah.
to gain footing here, I guess there's only one other component, which is, the income disparity. He's the primary breadwinner. Earns almost twice what
I was
she
thinking
does.
that.
So it's sort of like I just feel like, look, this is a big ask. It's a lot of dough. But I don't think it's wrong to ask and try to negotiate. I think calling him a cheapskate, I'm not a fan of that. That's a character attack, and that's just not
Mhm.
appropriate when you're working through a negotiation like this.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, if you wanted to
you
stay
know,
at
I-
the Super 8, then go for it, but I don't think that
yeah.
this compromise is cheapskate territory.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a lot of context here. I mean, another commenter said the salty tsunami, right? She's turning 36. If this is what she wants for her 36th birthday, what is she going to expect for her 40th birthday? You offered a good compromise for a birthday that's not a milestone. NTA. I feel like that's a fair point. Like if it was her 40th, like, the tens are a big deal. I guess some people have probably spun that the fives are a big deal, but like this just feels like unreasonable. But I really can't come for her besides the cheapskate thing, which is a pretty soft charge.
I think it's true that it's not a milestone birthday. To her, this could be like her 35th birthday celebration. Pretty large bill, but still, maybe that's how she's thinking of it. I just don't like the mentality of like, oh, if she's asking for this, what's this gonna be? Like, it just, is very reminiscent of like when women go onto AITA and they're like, would I be the asshole for like asking for a new engagement ring because it's like completely ugly and the husband got the opposite of what they wanted? And then everybody on there starts piling on her like, oh, you're YTA and a bridezilla. Like, I don't know. I didn't like that bit of the comment of just like assuming because she wants something, she's going to want something more later. Like, why? Um, that's it. But I do agree that it's not like a huge milestone birthday.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. I really don't see any room here to kind of land a charge. We'll read another comment here. Redditor 191389. I'm gonna give that a bottom 10 usernames. No assholes here. I don't think this is unreasonable to ask. You haven't been on vacay for a while. Ooh, that's another factor. We haven't gone into that. This has been a
Mm-hmm.
long time. I mean, maybe she could run the argument. Hey, look, if it hadn't been COVID, we average one vacation every 3 months where we spend, you know, a grand. And so because of that, or even just twice a year, right? We went a year and we would normally spend 2 grand on vacays. So I'm really just asking that we make up for lost time.
Mm-hmm.
That feels like a stronger way to put it.
I mean, I still kind of think like again for me, I'm not. It's not fair for me to project this onto them, but for me, I'd be like, well, like let's try to get more bang for our buck
I'm
somewhere.
I'm
You know?
recalling, yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. But I'll say this too, I was in the opposite situation where I was the really the reverse. I wasn't the breadwinner by a lot. And she would want to spend a lot of money on hotels and things of that nature. And it rubbed me the wrong way because, money
Mm-hmm.
is a tool. So it
Mm-hmm.
bothers me to spend that much on something that I feel, yeah, it's bang for your buck. And so I
Mm.
think that's really where we keep landing. But, I think these people are asking for things. I give her a slight ding for the cheapskate. It's not really that bad of an insult. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
it, but it doesn't seem like she's being hostile. And for these reasons, I think we ultimately agree AITA for not splurging on a staycation for my wife's B-day. I think we're going no assholes here.
Yeah, that's where I'm landing.
There we are, folks. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon. Subscribe to the newsletter. You'll see the link right there in the sub description. Excuse me. And join us on Twitch. And hook up with us. Oh God, I sound like my dad. He always says that. You gonna hook up? You gonna hook up with your
Ew.
friend while you're here? No, Dad.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm like,
don't say
no.
it that way.
Yeah, my mom would always say that. Be like, no, we're not gonna hook up at the mall.
Yeah, yeah. You gonna hook up with your brother while you're in New York? No, Dad. That's
Eh.
definitely not what. That's not gonna happen. Why would you word it that way? Please, please. Speaking of dads, AITA for threatening to call the police on my dad. Me, my wife, my dad, and his fiance recently attended a family wedding and shared an Airbnb. Since we were going to be there for a few days, his fiance bought snacks for the house. My wife absolutely hates anything spicy. His fiance bought spicy hummus for them and regular for my wife. And I don't eat hummus.
Okay, well, YTA
Okay.
for that. Hummus is delicious.
It's the best. My wife went to have some of her hummus and freaked out and acted like her mouth was on fire. I tasted some of her hummus and it was very spicy. I checked the label to make sure she didn't take the wrong one, but it said original. My dad eventually admitted that he switched them.
Oh no, Dad.
Okay. I lost my shit and screamed at him. I also said food tampering is a crime and threatened to call the police. He dared me to call them and see what happened. He said that he did it the night before when he was drinking and his fiance dared him too.
Oh.
She denied that but was blushing, so I think she did. I said next time I would call the police and maybe I won't be at their wedding. I felt pretty good
Mm.
about how I handled it. Did you? Did you feel good about
What?
that? Okay. But I mentioned it to my mom, and she
Weird.
said she doesn't believe in criticizing the choices of her adult kids, but that would make her think twice about ever going on a trip with us or letting us stay at her house for an extended period of time. AITA. What did we just step into?
I don't know. I mean, why? Like, yeah, why did they switch the hummus? That's rude. The fact that you're,
I
first of
mean,
all,
I
like, don't call the police. Like, honestly, not even like a liberal moment, it's just like they are not going to give a fuck. Like that is completely a waste of everyone's time.
No, I mean, I would even go to, yeah, like I'd go to conservative town. Like you're literally hurting our society. Like the police have
Yeah,
way
you're
more
wasting
important things to
tax
do.
dollars.
I just don't really understand like why he had such an outsized reaction. Like what is the like there's no allergy
Yeah.
discussed or anything. It seems wildly outsized. But I am smelling I'm smelling a toxic family here. I mean,
Yeah.
first we have
Oh
that
yeah.
dad's response is daring OP to call them and seeing what happens, which that is
We
not
know
a
what's going to
great way
happen.
to
They're going
like.
to be like, "Why did you waste our time?" But yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, and I understand it, but like as a dad, I would think
Yeah.
you'd be a little more reined in, and you'd say, "Hey, calm down. Look, it was a joke. I didn't know you'd be so upset. I apologize." But instead he's
Right.
antagonizing. It's not a good approach here.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of times in Reddit we see people not standing up for their spouse at all, but this I think is standing up for his wife too much. Like she was a little bit uncomfortable temporarily. The police do not
Gosh.
need to be called. This does not need to be a nuclear event.
And I mean, I've had spicy hummus. It's not like a particularly spicy spice. It's like what, jalapeno hummus?
It is not
It's not
spicy. Oh my
spicy.
god.
This is like,
It's like hummus that they put like red pepper in.
yeah, I mean, it's
I've had all the Sabra flavors, I know.
Sabra has taken over hummus. You hate to see it, people. Yeah, I don't really understand it. I guess the other phrase that I found disturbing looking into this family system, the mother making the comment she doesn't believe in criticizing the choices of her adult kids. That felt very strange to me.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, you should believe in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, to me that sounds like
What?
a shutting down of dialogue. And it actually, I think, I don't know, it reeks of gosh, I hate to be a broken record here, but it seems very personality disordery because here's what it is. It seems here's what it's trying to convey. It's trying to be like, well, I'm a good person and I would never criticize anyone. So it's actually very sanctimonious sounding. It's like she's trying to be, but
Right.
but what I
Yes, it's so sanctimonious.
and she's not hearing
Mm.
OP at all, right? Obviously people, this has nothing to do with hummus.
Well, I think she's being passive aggressive about it because she's like, well, I would never criticize you, but I would think twice about going on a trip with you. Like it is kind of a sanctimonious way of judging because it's you're judging by saying that you're not.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, what a terrible thing to say, and OP is going so far, and we'll quote Hemda, we quote her all the time.
But I think the mom's not wrong.
You think who's not wrong?
I think I would think twice about going on vacation if my kid was gonna threaten the police to call the police over hummus. Like I think I would.
Well, of course, but I was about to cite, Hemda turned us on to this quote. If it's hysterical, it's historical. And someone having
I
a
mean, that's for
reaction like
sure.
this to spicy hummus, we see father antagonizing, we see mother dropping this weird
Mm-hmm.
quote. I see a very toxic family system. I'm very concerned about it.
Yes.
I will make my verdict playing it more as it lays. Sarah doesn't like when I have to dig into the archives to form my verdicts, but I'm just pointing these things
Wait.
out. They're there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Spooky Armadillo writes, ESH, food
Ooh,
tampering is horrible, but calling the police over a spicy that's a little far. If it was something she was allergic
a
to,
little.
I think otherwise. Yeah, right? I think the lesson learned here is that maybe your
This
dad
is
and fiance don't.
to me. I'm like, I don't know. I guess it's food tampering, but it doesn't even feel like that because it's like
No.
the food was what it was. It's not like the situation where the kid added ghost pepper to his pizza so his brother wouldn't eat it. Like
Exactly.
you didn't really like tamper with the food, I guess. To me, it's like you misled someone to eat the wrong food.
Right. Right. It's just such a
Ridiculous.
honestly, if someone
It's
did
more
this
than
as
a
a
little far to
prank,
call the police.
gosh, it's not. I mean, even calling it a prank, I'd be like, I guess that's a prank. I mean, I took one bite, I knew it wasn't the right hummus, and then I was like, okay, I'm done. Like your mouth isn't on fire from spicy hummus. Happy banana. That's fun. I like that. Happy
I
banana,
like that
right?
one.
Right? ESH, but more you for this absolute lack of self awareness or reflection. I felt pretty good in how I handle it. You kidding? You screamed at him and threatened to
Yeah.
call the police. Massive overreaction. It was a stupid prank.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is just like, you feel good about that? That kind of tells me
Right.
a lot of info.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna play it as it lays, but I think
Mm,
OP is acting this way for deep reasons they may not even fully have internalized or be aware of. I really don't like mom and dad here. It's the kind of thing where it's like, okay, why would someone act like this? Because they're crazy. Like that's the only answer, that this is such an outsized reaction. So I'm like, I don't know what this is made of, but it's definitely made of something deeper. Nonetheless, I'll play it as it
hmm
lays, Sarah style, people. AITA for threatening to call the police on my dad. I think we agree. YTA.
I was gonna say I could have gone ESH because like what the dad did was not okay, but yeah, I do want to go YTA, so I appreciate your move there.
I mean, what dad did was bad conflict management, which probably speaks to his entire, capacity to be a father.
Yeah,
But, saying that in an
facts.
argument,
And he started it with the alleged
yeah, I
prank.
mean, God, it's just such a nothing prank. I just can't. I can't. I can't. So we agree.
I mean, as someone who like I'm not a huge spicy food person, I can have some sympathy. Like I think my mom thinks black pepper is spicy, like typical white lady shit. So I can have some sympathy, but I'm like at the end of the day, you didn't feed someone a ghost pepper. Like they will be
They'll
okay,
be okay.
you know?
So we agree, YTA. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe, join us on Patreon, join the newsletter, join the Twitch, you get it. Would I be the asshole if I gave a man at the gym deodorant? There we go, ending on a strong note. There's this man who works out on the same days I do, and he smells so bad. He ruins my entire gym going experience.
Oh.
Now, of course, the gym doesn't smell like
Oh.
roses, and not everyone smells amazing at the gym, but this guy's BO stinks up the entire gym area. We have a weight room and a cardio room. Before you enter the weight room, you already know he's in there. It's just so bad. So I thought maybe I should introduce him to the idea of deodorant. We're both from the same country, and I know some men from my country don't understand we have to wear deodorant. So if a white man or woman did this to this man, I'd be super
Hmm.
upset. But because we're both from the same country, I feel an obligation for the well being of all people at the gym to introduce him to deodorant. But I know I'm mainly doing it for myself because I hate how he ruined my gym experience. I have an intense work schedule, so it's not like I can go another time of day. Plus, going to the gym when I do helps with my whole day. Anyway, what do you guys think? Should I give my stinky boy deodorant or just bear this BO until I KO? Well done, OP. We
Ooh.
love the
Oh
wordplay.
my god, you're the hero for
Dropping
this
a wordplay
submish.
award.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
love that. Stinky
Ugh,
boy,
love it.
BOI. This is definitely tough. Like, as someone who belonged to a Planet Fitness, let me just say, but I can really empathize. But well, okay, it's kind of like this is a stranger, but you also allegedly know you're from the same country, so that to me makes me think that you have some kind of like rapport. You've talked to him before.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. He must know him a little bit. I mean, my thought here is that this is just gonna play.
Right. It's not like, oh, we're both the same race or something. Like this feels a little specific.
Right, he knows him a little bit, but
So I'm like, oh, maybe if you have some relationship, but I don't know, man.
yeah, I mean, it's a toughie. Telling someone they smell bad or whatever is obviously a volatile topic. Personally, never ran in. I've had some smelly friends, and I would just be straight up with them because they're friends. So this is like a weird corner case. I guess my thought
Mm-hmm.
is, the approach here, just handing this guy a deodorant is really condescending. So I wouldn't do that. My thought is like,
Not it.
look,
Yeah.
maybe try to catch him outside, strike up a conversation, build a little rapport, and then try to get into this. I mean, this is a very sensitive operation. You go in there, you know,
Mm.
deodorant blazing, and I don't love your chances. This is a stealth mission.
Yeah. I think you have to play the long game on this one.
Absolutely, absolutely. I
Gotta
actually,
get close,
yep.
earn their trust a little bit, but like actually. But then it's like, do you want to do all that just for like you're not doing this like for the good out of the good of your heart. Like you're doing it because you want to be able to like stand working out at the gym. And like, I don't know if I would want to like low key befriend someone just to tell them that they smell.
It's hard. It's hard. I don't see this going well, handing him the deodorant. Now, I would say sneaking the deodorant into his
No.
bag.
I was gonna say sneak attack when he's like, you know, bench pressing and just go spray, spray.
Yeah, yeah, actually spraying
Just
directly
kidding,
on
don't do
him.
that. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I think maybe buying a deodorant and just like
Right.
he's lifting, he's facing the other way, and you just put the deodorant there, maybe with a nice note. I don't know, but at least
Oh
that way he can't
no.
be mad at
No, no, no,
you.
don't do that.
I don't even. This is a tough. We need to get. There needs to be like I read this book by an FBI agent, and I was shocked because it works in such a common sense, relatable way. Like how they're able to like, you're like, well, how do they get information from people? And like how does that even happen, right? Like they would know, like if you're a diplomat or something, like they would know. And the way they do it is just exhaustingly
Mhm.
long. Like he tells a story of they would send an agent to the grocery store and the agent would kind of go at the same time and eventually they had a first chance encounter. Oh, you're getting Trix cereal? That's so funny. My kids love Trix.
Hmm.
And then again, and there can be weeks and weeks between this, but then they have that second interaction and eventually cultivate a friendship. And like it's very like manual labor to break in and eventually,
What is that? How they turn like sources, you mean?
yeah, exactly, like how they extract information
Or like,
or
oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a long game.
Yeah, they
Just
play the long game.
I think we need a federal bureau of smells. I would be comfortable with a little bit of my tax money, you know, just a guy. He knows how to break the deodorant news to people. He gets in there and he does it.
Yeah. Hire a task rabbit, or hire a PI or something. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Would I be the
That'd be
asshole
good.
if I gave a man
That
at the
would be
gym
good.
deodorant? I think we agree on this one. OP, we don't really have the answer, but the answer to your question is YTA. You would be the asshole.
Yeah, if you literally did that, YTA.
Not gonna go well. Well, guys, thank you so much for
No.
listening. We love our listeners. We do. That's really true. And I haven't been great about responding to messages and stuff, but I'll get to it next weekend because you're hearing this on Monday. Again, feel free, throw your address and the form. One person even wrote to me, please don't murder me. I promise I won't, but I will send you 7 stickers
Ha!
within a month. That's what I'm gonna say.
Imagine.
Give me
The
in a month.
sticker killer.
The sticker killer.
There we go. Be you.
All right, guys. Well,
You're just like, this is all a ruse. Just kidding. I love you guys.
yeah, I'm like that FBI agent. First, I get your address to get stickers, but next thing you know, I'm at your grocery store. Well, hello
Exactly.
there. Nice stickers.
And then you show up with the sticker. Exactly.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next Monday morning.